nervous hand in the direction of the gunfire. "He claimed he's a wolf. Threatened to rip somebody's heart out if we didn't all do like he told us." "A wolf," the ranger said flatly, looking off along the street. He took a breath. "That's right, a wolf," the man said, even though Sam hadn't posed his words as a question. "Can you beat that?" "It wasn't their hearts he said he'd rip out," another townsman said, cowering back into the alley. "It was their throats." He gripped a hand beneath his bearded chin and stared at Sam, wide-eyed with fear. "It was their heart, Oscar," the man in the clerk's apron said. "I ought to know what I heard." "Throat," the old man insisted in a lowered voice as he cowered farther back. Sam looked all around. The alley had started to fill with people pouring into it from behind the row of buildings along the main street. Another shot rang out. People ducked instinctively. "Number 6, Sam told himself. "All of you stay back," he said calmly. As he stepped out and walked along the street, he knew that he only had a few seconds during reload to make whatever gains he could for himself. He pictured the loading gate of a smoking revolver opening, an empty shell falling from its smoking chamber to the floor, another shell dropped, and another. As he walked forward, he gauged his pace, keeping it deliberately slow, steady, trying to time everything just right. Now he saw the fresh rounds appear, being thumbed into the gun one at a time by a hand that was anxious, unsteady, in a boiling rage. Then, with the scene playing itself out in his mind, as if signaled by some unseen clock ingrained in his instincts, Sam stopped in the middle of the street. It was time, and faced a faded wooden sign that read in bold letters above a closed door, "Sheriff's Office and Town Jail." "Here goes." "Sheriff Sheppard Stone," he called out, loud enough to be heard through the closed door, above an angry rant of curses and threats toward the world at large. "It's Ranger Sam Burrack. Lay your gun down. Come out here and talk to me." Looking around, he saw empty whiskey bottles littering the ground and boardwalk out in front of the building. Broken bottlenecks lay strewn where bullets had blasted their fragile bodies into shards. "Well, well, well," a whiskey-slurred voice called out through a half-open front window. "St. Samuel Burrack, to what do I owe the honor of your visit?" St. Samuel Burrack. He hadn't heard that one before. Just whiskey talking, he decided. "Territory Judge Albert Long sent me, Sheriff," he said. "He wants to see you in Yuma." He wasn't going to mention that the judge had heard outrageous complaints about Stone's drunkenness, and had sent Sam to persuade the sheriff to step down from office. A year earlier, drunk, Stone had accidentally shot 2 of his toes off. "Oh, what about?" Stone asked in a wary tone. "Is he wanting my badge?" He paused, but only for a moment. "If he is, tell him to come take it himself. Don't send some upstart do-gooder to take on the job." Upstart do-gooder? A couple more names Sam hadn't heard himself called before, although he'd heard himself called worse. He took a breath. All right. This wasn't going to be easy, he told himself. But at least there were no bullets flying through the air. Not yet, anyway. So far, so good. "The judge said you and he were old friends," he replied, ignoring the drunken threat, the name-calling. "Said you once saved his life. Now he wants you to come visit him, spend some time on his ranch outside Yuma, I understand." "Ah!" Stone said in more of a jeer than a laugh. "Spend some time on the judge's ranch." His words trailed into inaudible cursing and slurred mumbling. Then he called out, "Let me ask you something, Ranger. Does anybody ever fall for these yarns you pull out of your hat?" Sam let it go, but he couldn't stand out here much longer. He had to get the gun out of the sheriff's hand. Whiskey was too unpredictable to reason with. "I'm coming in, Sheriff Stone," he said. "Don't shoot." "You ain't coming in. Take one step, you're dead," Stone shouted, the whiskey suddenly boiling up again. "I've got to. It's too hot out here," Sam called out, calmly, taking a step forward. He ignored a gunshot when it erupted through the half-open